Hey everyone, welcome to Superhero Speak. And I'm your host, Dave.
I'm John.
JD here.
See, I'm adjusting. I'm not saying you're watching and listening. I'm just saying welcome now. But now that I called it out, I'm an idiot. So
We're all idiots.
That's why we're here.
yeah. Yes. So John,
Fair enough.
you weren't here last week. You were under the weather. How are you feeling this week? How's everything going?
Feeling better. It was just a stomach virus. It wasn't
the COVIDs?
No. I've been lucky to my area. Again, I live out in the boondocks. I'm surrounded by horse farms and Amish. It just has not been able to penetrate the inbreediness of my area yet. So
Speaking of the 10-foot pole,
yeah.
it's an inside joke. I was about to ask if the COVID is bad amongst the Amish, but I suppose the Amish aren't spending time with the normal folks, so probably
well,
not.
I will say this: the Amish, the Amish communities I know where it hit hard because they don't wear masks.
Yeah,
and most of them support Trump. So basically, they don't believe in COVID. They don't like. They get together every Sunday. So around here, every Sunday, you see buggies going everywhere. They all congregate as a single farm, one of the farms, and none of them are wearing masks. And I pass them, and it's like, you're right. They're very insular communities, so it's hard for them to actually get hit. But once they get hit, it spreads through them like crazy.
Amish Trump supporters, that's something that sounds like the punchline to a joke. I'm going to leave it.
Leave it where. Just
don't ask me.
Don't play it where it lies. Just leave it where it lies.
Amish Insurrection is a book I'm going to write.
Oh
my God. Is there something there? Artists, if you're listening, hit me up, because that's
Beautiful.
A comic.
So otherwise,
we might have gotten the title for this week's episode.
Yeah. Amish Insurrection.
Amish Insurrection, great.
Freaking love it.
Maybe if we get Weird Al Yankovic on here, it'd be awesome. I also acquired a new pet over the last week.
What am I looking at?
This is my sourdough starter.
Oh.
I feed it every 2 days.
Are you going to make sourdough bread?
Oh yeah, I've made 2 loaves so far. I'm doing okay. I'm starting to get the hang of it.
Never had it.
When am I going to get some of the sourdough bread?
The thing is, you cannot mess it up. Like, even the worst loaf you make tastes better than anything you get in the store, unless you're going to like a real bakery, of course. But yeah. So like, I'm made everything bagel sourdough loaf a couple of days ago, and I'm going to try another one now. So
all right, next time we go to a con, I expect some sourdough bread.
Sure. By then it'll be like the 158th generation of the yeast in here, and I'll have tamed it.
Can't eat it. No, not gluten free.
Well, yeah, the whole thing about sourdough is gluten. So yeah.
The whole thing about most bread is gluten.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd be bad for my sister too. So.
And how are you, 10-foot jungle gluten boy?
Oh my God.
I'm gonna get that tattooed on my back. I'm good, man. I'm good. Right, doing a bunch of writing. I had a really good week on the internet last week with putting out like articles and stuff. I had an article for WrestleJoy about how Randy Savage was actually Macbeth, and how I plotted his rise. No, seriously, I plotted his rise to the WWF title, and it follows perfectly in line with Shakespeare's Macbeth. And I was really proud of that, because it occurred to me about a year ago, and I finally had a chance to write that down. And I did a really cool profile on a Japanese deathmatch wrestler who's super interesting, guy by the name of Jun Kasai. So that's really good. And I just wrote a monstrous piece, like 30,000 words, for Fight Game that I'm hoping comes out this week, and I'll talk about it later. But that's like that's what I'm really proud of. So other than that, busy doing the books. Dude, I'm a living writer now. This is what I'm doing now to make a living. It's pretty cool.
Japanese death match?
Death matches, I'm glad you asked. Death matches are a breed of professional wrestling that is ultra violent. And when I say ultra violent, let me give an example of Mr. Kasai here. His trademark match is a razor wire death match. So they wrap razor wire around the ring, and they basically cut the shit out of themselves with it. He's also known for skewering people's heads. You take little like wooden skewers and dig them into dudes' heads. He won a match once by pile driving a dude face first onto a cactus.
Okay.
And do you know how they fake this stuff in deathmatch wrestling? They don't. They just do it. I don't know why the music kicked in, but it worked perfectly. The emphasis. They're doing there's a big documentary coming out on him in Japan right now, so there's a lot of attention going on the guy. So it's he's quite an interesting human being, quite to be honest with you. So
I apologize.
I'm just saying everybody was kung fu fighting. I mean,
I apologize to all of our.
That's racist. It's Japan.
Exactly, all of our Japanese listeners for John's cultural insensitivity.
Yes,
that is what I'm here for. No, but that is absolutely crazy. I mean,
it's batshit crazy. Deathmatch wrestling is something that I'm not into, so I really kind of stretched myself to write this little profile piece, and it's short, it's only 500 words, but doing so really made me interested in this man as a human being. So I'm gonna follow. Even matches make me nauseous, but I mean, he's a fascinating human being.
It's like not something that'd be allowed in the U.S. I'm assuming.
Oh no, we have them.
We do.
Death matches. Oh yeah, there's death. It's always independent.
No, those are called cage matches, and they're illegal. It's like
no. There's
really
plenty of deathmatch wrestling, plenty of barbed wire, gross stuff, dudes going through light tubes. It's different in Japan. It's a little more culturally acceptable, and there's like an art to it where like the guys who are doing it in Japan actually can wrestle. They just do this stuff because they're nuts. Whereas in the U.S., these dudes just simply throw each other through, plate glass and thumbtacks for fun, and they don't get paid very well, unlike in Japan.
God.
So.
Yes. Well, you learn something new every day. I mean,
that's what I'm here for. So yeah, that's how I spent a bunch of my week doing some research on. So yeah, man, going good. Going good.
Well,
how about you, Dave?
I was going to say, thank you. Back in the gym this past week.
I saw your selfie with the Spidey mask. No, well done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, did you see my brother's comment?
No, I didn't see that. I think I saw it before any comments were put in.
He was just like he's like, I know that mask because I've seen you wear it many times, but for some reason it looks like you have fangs because it's the bottom half of the Spidey's eyes.
Oh, brother's not a nerd, is what I'm gathering.
No, he is. He's trying to be funny.
Oh, he failed.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, and actually, I'm happy to report. So I had said last week I weighed myself. I had put 2 pounds on over the holidays. I was happy that that's all I put on. Well, I lost it this week, so I'm back where I started. So
it's water, man, that's good stuff.
Yep.
Big slight changes like that are usually just water weight.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, but
poop it out.
But at least it's out, and then
it's good for you, man. Back on the grind.
Yeah, I've been walking every day. That's about it, except I did watch the premiere of WandaVision on Friday. Did you guys watch it?
Of course.
Twice.
Well, you had to watch it multiple times because there's like
really
there's stuff ingrained in there. Like you had to go out to sites to watch. I don't have time, but there are people out there that are going through it frame by frame and finding stuff.
You're right. There's Easter eggs galore. I saw it on my own Friday night, and then I wanted to have my wife watch it to see what she thought of it. So we watched it last night.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I saw, I haven't been looking for these kinds of things, but the one thing I did see is a still frame from one of the shots where Wanda is standing there, and in the reflection of the window of the open door is the Hydra base from Age of Ultron. The castle.
Ooh, I didn't notice that. That's a good one. What I saw, again, I can't take care of this. I saw this online. Is someone did a freeze frame of the the Bewitched style intro to episode 2 when she's in the grocery store, and there's these posters on the wall, and one of them is for Wonder Brand something or other, a hint to Wonder Man, and then there was Bova milk. Bova, of course, being the cow hybrid that raised Wanda and Pietro. And then there was a cat with Auntie A's cereal, and that's a hint to Aunt Agatha Harkness.
who we still think
It's
is
her.
Yeah,
It's her.
I
So-
kind of
Agnes, but it's her.
So
She's got the brooch and everything. It's her.
But okay, is there anything now? Again, I'm not the Marvel guy, so you guys can
Yeah.
inform me of this. Is there something about her husband? Because she keeps mentioning the husband. The husband's not there. Was there something about Agatha Harkness and a husband or anything like that?
Not
Or
necessarily.
is the
but
name
No.
of the husband important? Or
Dave, go ahead.
my guess is the husband isn't going to actually be her husband. It might. I don't know if they're going to go this
Sword
far.
or something? Or,
It could be Mephisto, but I don't know if they're going to go this far.
So it's funny you say that because she talked about the rabbit's name was Senor Scratchy. In the
Mhm.
comics, Agatha Harkness's son is Nicholas Scratch, a wizard, low-level wizard, who's also named as a play on Old Scratch, another name for the devil.
Mhm.
If this is mystical or technical, I'm not sure. Perhaps a
Right.
combination of the two.
Well, it's.
But
I mean,
it's-
the whole thing. The whole thing is. I mean, okay, Wanda's powers are mystical, right? Are
They
they?
haven't really in the comics, yes, but they haven't really defined them.
All right.
Right.
So, like, if we assume it's mystical, then then this is like a fight between her mystical powers and Sword on the outside trying to technology their way in.
So here's my let's do this. Screw it. We're into WandaVision now. Everything else can wait. Here's my
Yes.
thought. Let's do this. Because like we're here. Let's do this. My thought is that Sword, we're clearly dealing with Sword here,
Right.
is
Yes.
is worried about the Scarlet Witch and has her locked into this like VR simulator that's playing out like American sitcoms.
You're sure she's not in control of it? And
No,
they're
here's
on the
what
outside?
here's what I think is I think that because there's that moment at the end of episode 2 where she's like, no, and she just rewinds it. I think that she has accepted and prefers this world, and now she is in control of it. That's my thoughts so far. Dave, what do you think?
Yes. Here's the thing that I keep coming back to is the beekeeper.
Yeah, what's
Because-
up with that?
Well,
AIM.
that's my whole thing. Was that a visual representation of an AIM agent? Because in the comics, people say they
beekeeper.
referred to as the beekeeper. Yeah.
I
Right.
forgot about that. That's very
Mhm.
well could be AIM.
Yeah.
And then, but how does AIM? I mean, they used AIM already though, in Iron Man 3, right?
Well, it wasn't AIM. I mean,
Applied
yeah.
Idea Mechanics was.
Yeah, but it wasn't AIM. You know, he's right. It was idea applied mechanics, but it wasn't really AIM. Like it's not AIM until you get MODOK.
Yeah, and the beekeepers, and not the
Yeah.
cartoon one that makes stupid funny.
There's a lot going on in this
MODOK.
show.
Can
Like,
I say something? Like I think she's in control. I don't think it was Sword's doing. I think she's got a town hostage. All the people in the sitcoms are people from the town. And remember when what's her face in the first episode kept saying stop, stop, stop? I think that she is controlling an entire town, and that Sword is trying to
Well, the thing that,
trying to get into this whatever this pocket reality she's created.
No. Here's
You
the
sure?
thing. The end of the first episode, when you see that it's Sword, that's television equipment. That's a fader. Like that's an audio track fader. And there's an analog signal booster right there. Like that's TV equipment. They're producing her show.
I don't. Well,
That's what I'm telling you, that's what the equipment is. And that stuff is like this is my business. Like that stuff is there for a reason. Like they're selling this idea that they are creating this sitcom. Like I'm not saying she hasn't taken a town hostage. That's quite possible, or not probable.
all right.
Well, they remember in one of the trailers, they had, I guess, the daughter of the one who
Photon.
becomes Photon. She gets thrown out of this pocket reality, right? And there was the sign for a town there, I think. So I think I don't know. That's my theory. She's taken a town hostage.
All right.
She snapped because of losing vision. She's created this pocket reality, and I guess I don't know if Agatha Harkness is working with Sword or she's in there because it's a mystical thing, and Sword is also trying to get in, or I don't know what's going on. So
There's definitely some mixture of mysticism and technology
mm,
going on.
So let's all right. Here's a theory. Let's combine a couple things. All right, so let's think of the comics, the twins from the comics,
They
right?
they they coming.
Well, she created them in the comics, and
Mhm.
then we all know, if you've read Avengers Disassembled and House of M, they made her get rid of the twins, and Professor X erased her memory, right?
But the twins became non-canon, or
No. It's actually before that. Like the twins exist in the Steve Englehart, the stuff that influenced this,
Right.
right? They had the twins, and then later on, I think it's John Byrne, retcons them into being fragments of they become Master
Mephisto, right?
Pandemonium. Well, there's this before, it was Master Pandemonium, this crazy looking guy who has the twins on each of his hands. It's a
Ugh.
super creepy image. And then they're fragments of Mephisto's soul is what it's revealed to be. But like, and then Xavier races, and it's weird. There's like this big 20-year gap because John
So
Byrne has her go crazy in West Coast Avengers first, and then they don't play into it until Bendis does years later. Go ahead,
Hmm.
Dave.
so now let's also look at Civil War. And what was the name of that thing in the beginning of Civil War with the device that Tony uses for his memory?
I don't remember.
It creates a hologram based on his memories.
Yeah, I don't remember what they called that thing.
And it's also apparently based on the same technology that Mysterio uses in
Homecoming.
Far From Home.
Far From Home. Yeah.
Yeah. What if she started losing her mind because Vision died? She started losing her control of her powers, so they plugged her into this machine.
It's possible. I see that. I totally could see that.
That could
'Cause
work too.
It's interesting. Did you guys notice the little drone, the sword drone?
Right.
Did you notice
right.
what color it was?
You were right. Yeah, it was coloring in a black and white, right?
No. Well, it was colored in black and white, but the colors, it was yellow and red. It was Iron Man colors.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
So
You don't get away from Stark.
No, it's very. So is this actually Vision they're dealing with, or is this something Wanda's recreated? Like, there's so many questions, and like, did you guys notice the TV, the house changes? Like the act
Yes.
stays the same, but the house, like it's the Dick Van Dyke set, and then it's the Bewitched set,
Yep.
and that's they're
And
gonna.
the next one will be Brady Bunch, I heard.
That's my question too. What do you guys think of that style? Like each episode being a different sitcom.
Well, as somebody who's seen like all the sitcoms from those eras, used to watch them when I was young. Yeah, I mean, they did a really good job. Even down to the writing was really, that level of sitcom.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Which must have taken some doing because it's really hard to write that way these days.
Oh, for sure.
Your mindset has to be in a certain set.
And the performances were like that too. Like that first episode was totally Dick Van Dyke, which we called it on this show that they would do the Vision gag with the Dick Van Dyke Ottoman. Super proud that actually happened. What I like too is the shooting styles. That first episode specifically, they shoot it just like a 3-camera, like because in old studio TV, you do a 3-camera setup, right?
Right.
Where you cut between them, and the shooting style is exactly the same. Like
Nice.
they mirror it until he starts choking, and then they go with like the canted angle close-ups where all of a sudden you're in like a movie. So like it not breaks the fourth wall, but it breaks down like a third wall where like you just you feel like something different is going on. It's ballsy as hell, man. It's really gutsy to straight up do a sitcom, a 50s sitcom. Like I love it. It's weird as get out, but I love it.
And see that's part of the reason why I think that it's her in control, because the guy started choking and the woman started saying, please stop, please stop. And, like Sword wasn't going to kill a guy, right? So he really had something stuck in his throat, and, she told Vision to take it out. So I think she's in control.
I think she's in control, but I don't think she because much like the Scarlet Witch character, much like House of M, she doesn't realize she's in control of that universe either. Because she builds the House of M reality, like her subconscious does it.
Right.
More so than she actively, makes these decisions.
And don't Oh, go ahead, Dave.
Barf. It just came to me. Sorry.
Oh,
no,
oh,
go
this,
ahead.
this is
Barf
what we
was the
do.
name. Barf was the name of the technology from
That's right.
Barf.
Barf.
Bartholomew. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
it's a Spaceballs reference.
Spaceballs gag.
Yeah.
Um,
You go ahead.
I find it interesting that also, and that's why it's confusing. Like, is this a setup? Is this her controlling it? Like, no one questions Vision taking the thing out of the guy's throat, but yet uh the one woman who I think might be one of the only real people questions her being teleported into the magic box in the second
Well, that's
episode.
because she's technically photon, right?
Is she supposed to be Photon?
I don't know, right?
Is that the same act? I don't know.
I think that's her. I mean, that's going to be the actress. She's playing that character, but
then
like
yeah,
again,
she is.
if she's in there, she's like either she's being controlled by Wanda, or she's going along.
Well,
I think that's why I think
someone
like
pointed
Wanda's
out-
forcing them to play characters, because if she were in there as an agent of Shield trying to deal with this situation.
Sword isn't Shield.
I mean, Sword. I'm sorry.
But that's
Sword.
the thing. But that's the point, though, is that Sword isn't Shield.
Right. But if she were in there as Sword, she wouldn't have that. She wouldn't be like perplexed about that. She would have rolled with it. She wouldn't have sat there and said, I don't know how I got there. It's like she's playing somebody who cognitively does it, like is in this sitcom, does not know that she's somebody else. Or something.
There's giant cognitive dissonance between all the characters. Like everyone's following some type of a bizarre structure pattern, but no one seems to quite, even the people participating don't seem to know why, which adds the intrigue of the show. And Deborah Jo Rupp as Mr. Hart's wife, the mom from that 70s show, brilliant casting, great performance, spot on. She's amazing in everything she does. Big fan. Like this show just hit me. I really want to know where it goes, and I'm glad they released 2 episodes as opposed to 1, because I think releasing 1 would have been harder to bait the hook.
Now I've heard from people that have already seen the 3rd episode. They don't do, none of them are doing any spoiler stuff yet, but like I've heard that they should have. That some of them are saying they should have put out the first 3 episodes, because the end of the 3rd episode is a real cliffhanger.
Well, that's good, because I think they just wanted to bait the hook enough, and I don't know if the first episode gives you enough of a hook to make you really want to come back. But the fact that the episodes are so short and so digestible, like they're sitcom length, actually, knocking 2 of them out is a piece of cake.
Yes.
So it's like by the end of that second one, I'm like, all right, like, film nerd, I was in from the get-go. But I mean, like, I was story-wise, I think by that end of that second episode, you're like, okay, something's going on here. So, and Emma Caulfield showed up as the Dottie, and my wife went, ooh, that's Anya. She's gonna be evil.
Yeah. Emma Caulfield, right?
My wife literally stopped and pointed and said that. Yeah, she's like, she's gonna be evil because she is evil.
I didn't recognize her first because she's older now, but yeah. But yeah, it was like, oh my God.
My Buffy fan wife just nailed it immediately. She's like, she's going to be evil. So good casting.
The ads. They put ads in the middle of these things.
Stark ad and a Strucker ad.
And a Strucker ad, yeah.
That was cool. I have a question for you guys that I thought of during the Strucker ad. Did they bring Pietro back?
That's possible.
Because they own him now.
Right. I've been wondering that too since they bought Fox. Are they going to bring him back?
Well, if she can bring Vision, like I'm assuming.
But did she bring Vision back?
We don't know. We don't know if this.
I'm assuming at the end of this they bring Vision back.
Well, Vision's an android, so like he can't, and Vision dies all the time. It's cliche.
Yes.
Like, so you can bring Vision back. Bringing Pietro back, that's something else. Like, because it opens up a can of worms that we can talk about later with Resurrection in the Marvel Universe.
Well, but the thing is that this is, I mean, we're talking about a reality warper who, if she hadn't been interrupted during Endgame, she would have taken Thanos apart just by herself.
Probably.
She was in the middle of taking him apart literally by herself.
Well, and here's the thing about Wanda too, is we've never really defined what she can do in the MCU. Like, we know, because we've read the comics, just how like Scarlet Witch might be the most powerful mutant on Earth, like her Jean Grey. right? And she gets underplayed a lot.
Until,
But like,
until we get the Fantastic Four and was it the Richard's son? But
well, yeah, Frank. Yeah, you're right. Franklin's the. But I mean, sometimes Franklin's uber powerful. Sometimes he's just a kid. Like Wanda's pretty damn powerful.
Mhm.
So
it's your reality warper. I mean,
now here's another. I got Dave. This is another one for you. We got no more mutants in the comics. Are we going to get mutants? Like
Yeah.
when she speak mutants into existence?
That's a really good question. I'm wondering.
Thank you.
Because again, they're saying this is going to lead into Doctor Strange. So, is there going to be, like a glimpse into the multiverse in this show? And is that how some mutants come in? Is that how Quicksilver comes back?
Could they actually bring? Could they bring back the? Now here's a question: would it be interesting to bring back the Days of Future Past Quicksilver? Because that is Pietro Maximoff, but it's not her Pietro Maximoff.
Right.
Because Wanda's in that movie too. She's just a little kid though.
Yeah.
Like we were really skirting legalities with that one. But I mean, there's a lot.
But he's much cooler. I mean, let's face it.
And,
it's like,
and there is
he gets stuff to do. They didn't give that one enough stuff to do.
Yeah, exactly. Except die.
Because speedsters are usually overpowered. I mean, once you put a speedster in, if you let them really do what they could possibly do, they would win every fight.
That being said, that scene in Days of Future Past is amazing.
Oh, fuck yes. I mean, it's just beautiful.
It's possibly the best single scene in the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
The time in the bottle?
Yeah. The burning house or the...
No, when he's I forget the thing, but it's like
that's Age of Apocalypse, the mansion, and then it's blowing up.
That's good. I think the one in Days of Future Past is
when they were in the Pentagon and they were trying to break out of the
He's
Pentagon.
got the headphones on. He's listening to Jim Croce, and he's just it's awesome.
He pushes the bullet out of the way.
Yeah, it's just super cool. Super interesting use of a speedster on film that we don't quite see. So I don't know. Back to the story. I really enjoyed this show. I think it's got a lot of potential.
I'll also say this. The more I think about it, most of the clips that they showed in the previews were from the first 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. So we really don't know where it's going.
No. And smartly. But the first 2 episodes, like I thought about it too. I'm like, well, they totally told us exactly what the show was going to be.
Yeah.
Like they gave us sitcoms. They told us what this was going to be.
Right.
But we don't I know one of them's going to look like Brady Bunch. One of them's going to look like Family Ties. One of them's going to look like Roseanne.
Yep. That's
all we know. And there's 9 episodes.
Yeah. Well, eventually I think the shit's going to hit the fan and then.
Oh yeah. It damn well better. Need that conflict.
And speaking of shit hitting the fan, we're going to find out what our audience thinks. But first, we're going to take our first commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Format out the window this week.
All right, we're back. We're going to do a little... Go ahead, John.
Oh, no. What are we doing? Because there's like more...
You don't follow the format. You want to talk more about... You want to do more WandaVision talk?
Yes, I want to do more.
Dude, I'm good with this. Like, this is all I care about.
So on social media, I did ask our fans what they thought of WandaVision.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with Twitter. We got hold on, load up. Sorry. 2 Peas on a podcast.
That's a great title, by the way, 2 Peas on a Pod. If you're listening to the show, well done.
They replied with a GIF of Wanda and at the party. How is anybody doing this sober? So, which was a great line in the episode. A Mega Level Nerds podcast said, confused with the understanding that it will make more sense in the future. Is Hickman writing this series?
Well said, Don. Well said.
Yeah. Anthony Bourne, this show makes little to no sense to me. Don't answer that.
Fair enough.
Random Randy Savage says, not confused, just tired of waiting. I feel like if they unlocked this whole thing at once, I would have binged it in a weekend and would have been disappointed.
Boy, he is the ray of sunshine in the geek world of All Stars.
Randy. Phew. Nick D said,
That's exactly why they don't do that. They want your hours of engagement. They want you to come back next week.
yes. Said, nope, it's a mystery. Oh, because let me say that I said, is anyone else confused by WandaVision? That's how I posed the question on Twitter. The Cheeky Cheese said, I have at least 3 solid theories. If you have 3 theories, you're confused. Warren Fitzpatrick, I vote for intrigued. Dave Porta, I vote for speculation. I speculate that she's pregnant with Adam Warlock.
No.
To which later he replied, "Oh, I'm a false prophet again. She's not pregnant with pregnant with the twins Wiccan and Speed. It's been shown in the trailers already
and in the comics."
Yes. And Vanessa said, "Not even going to try." And Scarlet Witch comics are my jam. And the Super Zet Toys comics and collectibles. In the comics, Wanda and Vision had kids. Later, Wanda went insane and almost destroyed reality when she realized there were no kids. She had just created an illusion. This series seems along those lines. Yeah, okay. So
I think they are calling out your nerd cred, Dave, and thinking you don't know anything.
Yeah, exactly. I was having fun. So I'll remember that for future.
It is, but I mean, like, it's definitely confusing. It's intentionally confusing. Like, you know, they want to throw you for a loop and make you think about stuff. So it wasn't a bad question to propose.
Yeah. Over on the Instagrams, we got the Ucho Dorle Parlay Hour podcast. Non-spoiler, happy with the MCU, fresh take thus far. Trek Talking said, a little slow and repetitive, wanting to find out how and where it fits into the MCU and the point of the whole vibe.
Is that a fair criticism to 1 hour of TV? 2 half-hour episodes to call it slow? Like, they move really fast.
Yeah, that's actually
you get the feeling they're gonna move faster too. I mean,
like, and it's not, and again, it's not a movie, it's a TV show. Like, aren't we used to, like, it seems like people just like don't want a story.
Not
like,
anymore.
They just want the check marks. Like, they want to read like they want to read Wikipedia.
Well, then just
actually, they don't even want Wikipedia. They want a 5-minute video.
Yeah, watch the show, man. Read
yeah,
story.
watch the show or wait till it's over and read the Wikipedia entry then. Zambam17 sucks so far, but trusting Marvel has a plan and it will be good soon.
What do you mean sucks so far?
Wow. Dave, I want you to block him.
We don't block.
Seriously.
And Disney...
Kablock! Ha!
Kablock.
And Disney Plus The Fuss. I used to watch I Love Lucy and Bewitched. So the vibe they're going for so far makes sense and is enjoyable when you understand the context. It feels it will be fun to see the bigger plots unfold as we see them transition to color. I think it will be great. So yeah, exactly. Like, that's the point. Like, it's a slow burn. They're slowly revealing things.
You think people that watched 22 movies to get to Endgame would be a little more patient?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder
those are the people that watch the 5-minute videos about each movie, or the 5-minute video about all the movies. I don't know. It's like,
we started in 2008. We didn't get a wrap up till 2019, and they're like, "Time, let's go. Come on. I've already watched this for an hour."
I mean, you can understand them being excited, but yeah, patience, please.
Yeah, let's let a story build, man.
Are we at a jumping off point for non-diehards?
Yeah, I think we might be, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, if you're not, because this is a hard concept.
All of these are deep cuts. That's the problem.
And it's like, I do think that this might be, I think this works better in TV where you can binge something, but I
Mhm.
can see this being a tough watch for people that aren't like super into Marvel or like appreciate the sitcom setup. Because like I said, there's definitely people out there that want the smash bam boom, and you're not going to get that with this show. Like I
Like
said, it's super ballsy.
for instance, when in the first episode one of the plates hits his head and she looks over and says, "My husband with the indestructible head." And those of us that watched, 12 years of Marvel are like, oh, right. Thanos ripped the gem out of his head.
Right.
Like
And it didn't break. Yeah.
she would make his head indestructible in this reality if she could. It's like you're thinking about like everything that couple has been through,
Mhm.
everything that she's been through. Um, and like that makes you invested in it more. People that are just jumping on here are missing a whole bunch of
Boy,
context.
if you're just
I can't.
jumping on here, that's a bad move.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anyone is jumping on at WandaVision.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't work unless you've at least seen a couple of the Avengers movies and know
At
who they
least
are.
Endgame. At least Endgame.
Yeah.
Right.
You know. That being said, like I said, I do think that we live in a culture where, especially when it comes to TV, people prefer to binge. But Disney has trained us to be a little more patient, like traditional TV again.
Right.
And they want, quite frankly, that's 9 episodes. That's you know what that is? That's 3 months of subscriptions.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Smart.
is.
That's really smart on their part. Boy,
But
that's the
but you're
mouse.
but you're right. It's like and you know what? As an anime watcher, right? I am used to I'm used to watching 100 episodes of an anime and having all of this backstory, so that when they say like one certain thing, you either break down crying or stand up cheering.
Isn't that comics?
Well,
Yep.
yeah, but that's the thing
Yes.
though, right? You're getting like this goes back to the fact that we geeks have taken over everything, right?
Oh yeah.
So now that we own basically all of the most top grossing movies of all time, it's like, well, this is our culture, right? We're used to very deep cuts. We're used to very long overarching storylines over multiple movies, over multiple writers even. And the rest of people just want to see the fighting and the superpowers.
And again, it's super gutsy of Marvel to make this their first Disney show.
True,
Because
it
it
requires
is
the backstory.
it is well so much backstory, and it's so different than everything else we've been thrown at. And the Marvel universe has not been afraid to be different. Like we were talking about Ant-Man. Ant-Man's a heist movie. Guardians of the Galaxy is this big space opera. Everything's a little different, but falls back into that same superhero genre. We're
Right.
not in a superhero story right here.
Yeah, this
No,
is going to be a
not in the
love
least.
story. This is a love story.
Yeah, it really is. It's a love story that's like I fear because I know the lore. I fear ends tragically.
It's a situation comedy, guys. Speaking of situation comedies,
How great is Elizabeth Olsen, by the way?
Oh my God.
She's
Both of them.
fantastic.
Paul
Paul
they-
Bettany's great.
They have real chemistry. Like the two of them together, you can see them in love, right?
I remember watching was it Civil War or is it the first? Is it
Age
Infinity
of
War?
Ultron.
No, it's when they first established their relationship.
Oh, there was an Infinity War.
It's
wasn't
Infinity
it?
War because it kind of comes out of left field. I remember thinking, they're just going to throw this at us, huh? We're not going to
Well,
do any
he
work.
saves her in Age of Ultron.
He does. You're right, but it
Right,
just
no,
like
you're right. It's Civil War is when you could see that there was something going on between them.
right, but you don't see it that there's a real thing until Infinity War. And I remember
Right.
thinking, we're kind of getting gypped some of these moments. I don't
Hmm.
feel that anymore. Like I feel like this entire show is going to do so much to like really build the two of them, and they're so great. Like Elizabeth Olsen is so good. She's really like parroting these 60s like the delivery of these like characters, and like
Mhm.
she's totally in that second episode channeling both Mary Tyler Moore and Elizabeth Montgomery at the same time. Like she's so talented. It's amazing.
Maybe a little I Dream of Jeannie too.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. I don't know, but like Jeannie was always like she never played it quite like Sam was always in control, whereas
True.
Jeannie was just kind of like zanier.
Yeah.
And like, it's just like she looks like Laura, she looks like Mary Tyler Moore. And it's hard not to
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
the parallels. Or like, I don't know, man. This show is just for a cinephile TV nut. This is really clicking something for me, man. It really
Yeah.
is.
So I guess we're all going to keep watching it.
For at least one more week.
Yeah.
If this week sucks, I'm out.
All right. Speaking of shows that are out, so we had talked about CW passed on Black or
The
Green Arrow and
Canaries?
Black, the Canary show, and to which and so it's funny because like I think I mentioned this too. Like I forgot this was even a thing until the news came out and it's canceled. So Uchu Duro Parlay Hour. Ooh, I'm going to be able to say this one of these days. Said the CW already had one time jumping show that did the show that did okay in ratings. Don't think we wanted a second.
Yeah.
And then Randy from Cult 45 said, yeah, they tried a backdoor pilot and at the end of Arrow, but the problem was I honestly did not care for female Oliver. I liked male Felicity, but the whole thing reeked of dead horse.
Dead horses are smelly.
Well, they had already done angst for 8 years, oh, I'm so tortured. I think we'd had enough of that at that point.
And then a strong style nerd said,
Strong style. I like that. Nice.
Is it like strong bad?
No, that's Japanese wrestling.
Oh.
Ask me, it was time to let Arrow-themed heroes rest on the CW. Not to mention the premise was weak to me. Just wasted 2 seasons of screen time with the future stuff, including precious final season time given the truncated season. Yeah, I mean, they flash forwarded in the last 2 seasons, and like now that stuff's never going to pay off. So yeah, but I kind of see this is what I was getting at with like people jumping off the Marvel train. I think people are jumping off the CW train now that
CW ran into a couple of problems. A, truncated seasons because of COVID.
Right.
B, Ruby Rose leaving Batwoman. C, Arrow ending. And at least, I mean, it was starting to get stale, so it ended on a good note. And D, they blew all of their, they culminated in the crisis on Infinite Earth. So like at this point, all the other actors on, say, a couple of the actors are leaving on Legends, right? Adam is leaving and his wife. So you're starting to lose, you're losing momentum, and then COVID hit. It was like hitting a brick wall, and it's like, where do you go from here, right?
Yeah, where do you go after the Crisis on Infinite Earths? Like,
yeah, I mean, like when they killed Ollie off in that, I'm like, okay, it's done. Like, where are we going? Like,
yeah. Oh,
you rested this universe on his shoulders, and now you just killed him.
Yeah, and Supergirl's ending. They're bringing Superman in, but I'm not really crazy about that yet. I mean, from what I've heard, what I'm hearing, and from that first trailer, I don't know. I mean, it looks more angsty.
Well,
it's what they do.
I know it's CW, but they could tone it down just a bit.
Speaking of the trailer for the Superman Lois show. None of your business. None of your business over on the Twitter said it must have made for the CW Super Soaps. Superman's name first, but the show will be Lois with Clark. Kal-El will be acting human and Clark befuddled, looking interlaced with self-deprecating behavior. Lois will be the next best thing since garlic toast.
I think you just described the 1990s show.
Yes.
Hmm.
Was that a joke or like was he? I don't know.
I don't know. None of you. What were you thinking? I don't know. I'm starting to think it's going to be about the kids in high school. They're
What?
boys. They have two
No,
boys.
they're
in the
not. They're the wrong ages for this. Like the show takes place in a time when I think the kids are just.
Nah, the kids will be teenagers, and
That would put it in,
Then it would-
the future Arrowverse.
But then it wouldn't be the Superman and Lois show. It would be like the Super Sun show.
Yeah.
yeah. And then
Good.
finally, on a topic that just won't die, the Snyder Cut.
Oh my god. I can't wait till this movie comes out. I can't wait so we can stop talking about this damn movie. How long has this dominated this show? 2 years? Maybe longer?
So last week we talked about how Zack Snyder has ruled out there won't be any sequels, and that he's only added 2 scenes to this.
He got 4 hours and only added 2 scenes.
Well, if you were here last week, you could have talked about it.
I know.
Movie Graveyard said, no, he had it more than 2 scenes, unless both those scenes are 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, to address that, we talked about it. It's like it's not necessarily new scenes, it's a lot of unused footage.
Yeah. There's no editor on this movie. What a wonderful thought.
We basically picked everything up off of the floor and put it back in the movie, and that's it. I mean,
Yes.
it's like
Yes. That's what we're getting.
Dave, do we have to read the next one? Where some idiot with a crying frog like meme? I'd rather just punch in the face than actually deal with him.
Is that?
Well, it's the same. It's along the same
Pepe?
lines.
Yeah, it's kind of a Pepe, but it's a handle saying Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Which my whole attitude looking at this is Jesus Christ.
Well, basically, he echoes the last one. He says, "You really think he only added 2 scenes with this new release? Highly doubt that." It's like, yeah, no, 2 new scenes.
I call this guy a geek, but he doesn't listen to our show, so
Exactly. And then Megapodtastic said, I can't believe this. I still want a Joss Whedon written and directed sequel with no Snyder interference. Sadly, I don't think that's in the cards.
no.
Joss Whedon is persona non grata right now.
Regardless of that, Justice League wasn't good enough to get a sequel.
You got that movie. It was called Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Shadow Walker said, Don't believe a word of Zack Snyder. His ego won't let him stop with just what he has now. DC needs to say no to Snyder."
Well, they did. They fired him. They're doing this because HBO needs content. But I don't think he's wrong. Do we need a black and white version of this movie? Like
it already is black and white.
But I'm saying it's 2021. Do we need black and white movies, superhero movies, for characters that never existed in black and white themselves? Well, I don't know. Zack Snyder, man.
All right. Well,
when's this thing come out? I forget.
March, I think, is what they're saying.
Oh, thank God.
All right. So, if you enjoyed that and you want to be part of social media madness, here's our good friend D Square to tell you how you can follow us on social media.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of social media madness? Make sure you're following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the social media links for the show at the top of the page. While you're there, check out previous episodes of the podcast as well as other great content. And check the site often because we are posting great comic book reviews as well as other comic book and movie content every day. Make sure you are following us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Simply follow them at Star _geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pup Prism Power Podcast, Colt 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for GW All-Stars, you will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
Thank you for that, Don. We greatly appreciate your inclusion. And don't forget to check out the Omega Level Nerds podcast on YouTube and wherever podcasts are available.
It's March, by the way. It is coming out in March.
Didn't I say March?
Yes, I'm just confirming that.
Beware the Ides of March. The Snyder cut is on the horizon.
Well, while you guys are worried about the Ides of March, we're going to take our next commercial break and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. We got a little bit of news. Not much to talk about.
I told Don, speaking of Don, that I'm going to write a thing for the website about why the Clone War or the Clone Saga was a good thing. I just need the time to do it. So I know Don's listening. It's coming. Don pooped on. They're doing a Miles Morales Clone Saga, and Don was like, "It's the worst thing that ever happened to comics." I don't think he's necessarily wrong.
All right,
but I think I can justify it.
All right, Don, go back in our archives and listen to our Ron Friends. Who's the writer?
JMS.
No, I mean he was the editor at the time, but
Tom DeFalco.
Yes, our Tom DeFalco Ron Friends episode, where and it's even in our intro of the show, like where Tom talks about the Clone Saga. Just do it. It's really good. All right. On that note, the big news, the really, really big news that came out this week. I didn't want to bury it at the bottom. It looks as if Chris Evans might be returning as Captain America to the MCU.
He poo-pooed it on his Twitter, which makes me believe it's all the more possible.
Exactly. Thank you, because everyone kept going, "Oh, it's not real because he already said no, blah, blah." It's like every time a rumor like this comes out and the actor comes out and says, no, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Happens every time.
Every time.
What's that?
Pro Wrestling 101.
Yeah. When they offer you, the amount of money, the same amount of money as your house weighs, like, even Iron Man's going to come back at one point or another, not permanently, but they're going to pay these guys so much.
Well, that's my question too, right? Like they're sitting there saying he's in like Deadline article basically says he's in negotiations to reprise the role.
And that's what interesting is, like, we're talking real sources came out with this. This wasn't, we got this covered.
Yeah.
Like,
man, we love to.
Oh, I love to bury those guys every chance I get. But like, no, like Variety and Hollywood Reporter, like real sort, which is why he had to address the rumor. Like, this is like, there is smoke to this fire. This is a reality. Whether he comes back or not, it's a different story.
But then the question becomes, it comes back in what capacity? Because there's about 1,000 different ways he could come back.
Old Cap, new Cap.
I was about to say, just off the top of my head, he could just have a cameo as Old Cap in a movie. That's it. Like, he doesn't have to come back as full fighting Captain America.
You know what I would do?
What would you do?
In the second season of Falcon Winter Soldier, Secret Empire. The Nazi, the evil Hydra Cap.
Yeah.
Break America's heart.
Screw America.
That's what I would do. And then Bucky and the Winter Soldier, Bucky and Falcon have to fight an evil version of Cap off. Come on, man, that's good drama. That's what I would do.
It's actually not a bad idea.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting though, because let's get through season 1 before we worry about season 2. But if he's in negotiation now, it could be a cliffhanger at the end of season 1.
I assume they're talking to him for a reason, And I don't think, as an actor, I don't think he'd be interested in doing the same thing he was doing. Like, why would you come back unless they give you something new to do?
Right. Exactly.
Unless unless he's so like desolated right now with like the state of the world that he wants to be Captain America again, which is possible.
Well, the money again, the money's got to be really good.
When you're stupid rich, like the money means a little bit less.
Well, okay. What are these guys getting in? What do you think these guys are getting? Are they getting residuals or something?
Yes,
Yeah.
SAG.
So,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
so
They're
they're
rich.
like they're
No,
set for life then. With
Yeah,
these
yeah,
guys,
yeah,
right?
yeah. He's rich for the rest of time. Like,
All of them are basically right.
Yeah.
especially Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. Like they're getting paid and they're getting SAG money and royalties and like they're probably getting a little something off everything that features their face.
I was
So I
gonna
mean,
say,
like,
every figure that comes out that looks like him.
yeah, as long
Yeah.
as it looks like them, they're gonna get paid. Like SAG takes great care of people. If you're in that union, like you're gonna get money for the rest of your life for your work. So it's not like it's not like he's got a drug problem where he needs more money to like restart his life. For him, it's gonna be like a do I want to do this kind of thing.
Well, according to you, he's got a juice problem.
Not a problem. He handles it quite well.
I
You
mean,
ever notice he wasn't as big as he was in the first one.
true.
He's a lot bigger in First Avenger.
So
He
we heard.
he hated Fantastic Four. Like,
Well, so did we.
he's like,
So we heard JD's theory. John, do you have a theory on how they could bring Cap back and how you would like to see it?
well, if we're dealing with different universes, I mean, like, if they're leaning hard into the multiverse thing, right?
Right.
So we could see him from a different universe.
That's possible. That's a good point.
It's very, you could see they could bring back anybody at this. It's literally nobody's dead, right? So we've got Loki from a different timeline, not even from a different universe, but just from a different timeline. He's kicking around now. Scarlett Johansson, we're not even sure Black Widow was Black Widow when she died. Because we're getting a movie for her on May 7th, and who knows what the end of that's going to show. So like, all these guys are up in the air, and you bring the multiverse into that, nobody's dead. Anybody can come back at any time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would be interesting if you along the lines of what JD said, take him from an alternate reality where it was Captain Germany, let's say, and Germany wins World War II. And in his mind, he's, again, it's about that perspective of history's written by the winners. So in his mind, he's doing the right thing, and then you get that whole conflict.
I don't know if you'd want to mess with it that hard, right? You don't want a Captain America that was all for murdering 6 million Jews.
You avoid it and you Hydra, which is what they do in the Marvel
Right.
universe.
Right.
Exactly.
But the thing is, I don't know if they want to mess with the character like that.
But what you just proposed is Captain America Red Sun.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
True.
Or what you could do too, I just thought of this, is you could do what was his name? The Grand Director Captain America, the Commie Smasher Captain America, who looked just like Steve Rogers, who goes evil. That's an option you can do too. Like I said, I'm very interested in bringing Chris Evans back as an evil version of Captain America, especially if you're trying to push Bucky or I should say Winter Soldier and Falcon as like the next generation. Like I think that having him back, it's like that Optimus Prime episode where they're going to bring him back the first time and he's like rotting and doesn't work anymore. You have to learn to let him go. And then 6 episodes later, they bring him back.
Of course. Yeah.
But that Transformers, neither here nor there. But I mean, there's something interesting to me about having him do an evil version of Captain America. Part of me hopes I'm wrong, but another part of me sees like that there's so much dramatic potential in that.
I agree. I agree. I think, but most likely we're just going to get him in old man makeup. And
it's a waste of time, in my opinion. I hope they don't do that.
He could show up in the Loki show because Loki's going back and forth in time, right? So he could go back to, hey, why don't you come out of the house for a bit? We got to go on an adventure, a quick adventure.
I'm gonna also throw this out there too. If we're going down the road of House of M, but then again, we're already in WandaVision, and we think this is their play on House of M. in House of M, that's one of the things she changed. He never becomes Captain America.
It's true.
He's just an old man in the story. So
We could do Marvel 1610 where he's like an American,
Oh.
a white American Indian with like it sounds worse than it actually is. The story's actually really good. Gaiman does a good job with it. There's a lot, man. There's so much IP for them to choose from.
Let me guess. They think the X-Men are witches.
Yeah.
Well, wait.
Did you ever read that? Did you ever read Marvel
No,
1610?
Neil Gaiman did a guest spot on Big Bang Theory.
Oh, I
Okay.
never saw that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
but one of the Easter eggs in the first episode is when they're walking to the house. The house number is 2800, and there's speculation that 2800 is the number of the universe that they're in.
That is what I'm going to call a deep guess.
Yeah.
I know,
Because
I'm
if they
just-
were-
it-
Because like if they were in a universe, it would be 616. You know,
well,
and number
No,
two-
the
but it's a
MCU
pocket
has a
universe
different-
she's in, right?
The
I
MCU
mean,
isn't 616. I can't remember what they call it.
it's like 19999 or something.
yeah.
they-
It's its own universe. It's
They
not
gave they
616.
gave it like, I think it's 19,999. I think that's the MCU.
So 1999. That's probably the year. That's
No,
probably the year
ni-
Marvel Studios was incorporated or something like that.
No, 19,999.
yeah, but it's
I just-
1999. You know,
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. They did that because of something to do with the company in 1999, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot they can do. Like, I don't think that has anything to do with the address. The address might mean something, but I don't think it's the universe.
Maybe that's the number of multiverses.
That's a very DC move if they were to do that.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do that.
Oh, I would love it. Screw DC. I mean,
But I mean, like, it's like, but that's something they would do. Like, it's a very Dan DiDio, 52, Yeah. I'm a little meh on that idea.
So,
But-
so the MCU is officially Earth 199,999.
It's a plan. It's a plan, 1999.
something happened in August of September, I'm sorry, of 1999 as well. All right. Well, moving on. So I guess, okay, before we move on, I guess we're all saying we're kind of intrigued. We think Chris Evans is BSing us and that he actually is coming back. We'll have to see what happens. Staying in the MCU, we have gotten confirmation that Ethan Hawke will be playing the villain opposite Oscar Isaac in Moon Knight. No word on which villain he is playing. So
He'll be playing Ethan Hawke as a
What?
true villain.
Be playing a sexy man wherever he does. That's for damn sure.
what do we
That's
think of
villain
this
enough.
casting, guys? And who do we think he could be playing?
Moon Knight is so off my radar.
Yeah, me too.
I think I own a couple of copies
Me.
down in the basement, but I never read them. So
I've
Jack
read
Russell.
a few.
My guess is he's going to play Jack Russell, the werewolf by night.
I thought Jack Russell was a terrier.
He is. That's why it's one of those Marvel names. You know, the werewolf's real name is Jack Russell.
I thought you meant Jack Russell from Big Trouble in Little China, but
That would be Jack Burton,
oh, Jack
Yes.
Burton, right?
played
yes.
by Kurt Russell.
yes.
No,
Jack
but
Russell. There you go.
Moon Knight debuts in Werewolf by Night, and that's like his first thing is going against this werewolf. So that's a possibility I could see is maybe he's playing Jack Russell. Other than that, I don't have the foggiest clue.
And that's a very MCU move too, is to try to use villains close to their original origin.
Yeah, which they do usually. And it's weird because Jack Russell's not typically a villain, but Moon Knight's also batshit crazy. So, it's
Right.
possible. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what's the last thing I saw with Ethan Hawke in it.
I think it's one of those Before Sunrise movies was the last thing I saw of him. He's also in one of the early Purge. I think he's in the first Purge movie.
That might be it. Yeah.
He's a good actor. He's a real good actor.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
50. Just turned 50.
Yeah.
He looks
looks-
great for 50. Let's be real.
All right, fine. Are you saying you'd still sleep with him, JD?
If he's paying me, yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Is this an indecent proposal scenario? I'll take the money.
All right, John, how much you offering him to sleep with Ethan Hawke?
I don't want any part of this action whatsoever. I want to be as far away from it as possible. Thank you very much.
More money for me.
So yeah, I'll back that up. He's probably playing Jack Russell, and yeah, I don't know. So who do you guys think he's playing? Let us know in the comments below over on Facebook or Twitter, and we will talk about it next week. So moving on, the movie that will never die. This just came out, and I wasn't
New
you
Mutants?
sent me this article. I wasn't going to talk about it.
It's like
That's true. I did do. This is my fault.
So originally they said that we were going to get 4 one-hour episodes of the Snyder Cut.
oh my god.
Now Zack Snyder's going, nah, it's going to come out as 1 4-hour movie.
Well, I'm taking that day off.
Does HBO Max know what they're doing?
I think they do. I think what they discovered is when they tried to split it into 4 1 hour things, they realized it just can't work. Like it must not work that way. Because again, they would much rather have you come back.
Yeah. True.
You know, so but it probably makes no sense in that regard. Well, it's not going to make any sense anyway, but probably like holds no narrative structure in that form.
So did Snyder look at the Watchmen film and go, yes, but longer?
Yes, it's his movie.
I was gonna say, what do you? It's the same director.
I know. It's just it's like, but that one has been poo-pooed for having been overly long and
not by Zack Snyder.
Oh, well, it's true. Yeah, it's like,
according to Zack Snyder, it's the most brilliant thing ever.
Yeah, greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm sure. It's like
he does have a long,
which I will bake.
He does have a longer cut of it too, of Watchmen with the Black Pearl. Why did I forget the name of the pirate story?
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of the
Pirates of the Caribbean.
No. There's
I think
pirate story.
No, Black Pearl is the boat from Pirates of the Caribbean.
I know. After I said it, I can't remember the name of the boat in Watchmen, but yeah, they have the animated version of that in one of the cuts that got released on Blu-ray like a decade ago. If I had liked the first Watchmen movie, I probably would have bought it, but I didn't, so I didn't.
Yeah, that might be cool if we could just pull out the cartoon.
You might be right. It probably exists somewhere on YouTube or something.
Yeah,
that's probably floating around there.
Some nerd took the time and edited it together.
Yeah, I have guys. The more time progresses, the less interested I am in this movie. Like at first, I was really digging on it from like a car wreck perspective, but the fact that we have to talk about some change in this plan every week.
Yeah, I know. That's
just exhausting.
That's what I'm getting at. It's just like
it's getting worse and worse. It sounds worse.
It's like, okay, fine, you decided to do it, but they keep talking about it, like
because the Snyder Cut people are insane. And they just love to talk about it. Like this movie is like a religion, and no matter what happens, they're gonna love it. Like this is like the Book of Mormon. Like they're just gonna love it so much, you know. Not to pick on any Mormons out there, I just couldn't think of anything else off the top of my head. But I mean, like they're gonna like adore this thing, and the rest of us are gonna go, "What am I watching?"
I was thinking of the musical from the guys who do South Park.
Sure, that too. It works on multiple levels. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I know we gotta watch it for the show, but it's just like the more time goes on, the more we have to talk about it. Like, the less interested I become, and the more I feel like I'm going to the dentist.
That's probably literally what it's going to be like.
That's what I feel like. I feel like, well, we have to talk about this. I would tell my wife, well, I have to watch this movie. I'm not going to be able to get any writing done this weekend because I have to spend 4 hours of my life watching this movie that I know I'm going to hate.
And not just any dentist, the dentist from Little Shop of Horrors,
like Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Causing people pain.
Right.
Anyway, and here's the thing. So tonight, for some odd reason, on Cartoon Network, they premiered Justice League. Earlier tonight, when I was watching dinner, it was on. I'm like,
Warner Media, man.
Yeah, and I was like, there's nothing else on. I put it on and I'm watching.
I mean, on Cartoon Network?
Yes, on Cartoon Network.
Oh God, this is like the History Channel, which doesn't really show history.
And it was
anymore.
on.
It's like,
show history
and they had it on like during dinner time, so like kids could watch it and stuff.
Yeah, but Cartoon Network isn't really watched by kids. Kids watch Boomerang. Kids watch their other stuff. Like the Cartoon Network night is usually just nerds, anime fans. It's a different audience.
I don't know. I think that's not the Adult Swim. I was thinking because anyway, but yeah, it was just like, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, this is bad.
Oh yeah, it's aged worse too than I think.
That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Like this is aged terribly,
and it was hard to begin with.
I mean, Steppenwolf saying "mother" over and over again,
I know,
is painful to watch.
I don't know what they were thinking with that movie, man. Like I remember watching it, but like this is very, but I don't remember hating it. But the times that like it's been on, or I've tried to watch it or something, it's just like, God,
you can't get through it anymore.
Just awful, which is sad because I just love all those characters so much. But I just really don't like Zack Snyder's vision. And it's you can say Joss Whedon, whatever, but I mean it's still Zack Snyder's vision. And I know we're gonna get a whole new movie with a sharper, pointier Steppenwolf. I just don't care, man.
It's gonna be hard to sit through, but
4 hours?
We have to for the show.
That's a lot of popcorn.
Hours?
I mean, I don't know, man. Are we
gonna be able to sit through it in one sitting? That's my question.
I don't think so, man. 4 hours? That's like 2 nights. Like that's a big ask of any audience. Like they would, like no studio in the world would let that go, which is why the movie was edited down. Like no studio in the world would ask that of an audience.
See,
unless you're talking like Gone with the Wind or something like that.
I could fold all of my laundry and still have time for like 2 full bags of popcorn from Amazon. Like, the big ones with the caramel.
I'm wondering what
go on.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at our technical difficulty.
That's not a technical difficulty. That's a COVID 2020 moment that just happened.
2021. Anyway.
It's a cute moment. It's a cute moment.
It's a cute moment. It's a technical cuteness. He left the door open. Oh, okay. So anyway, I think of JD, and he can sit there and at least watch it with his technical cuteness and his wife, and not.
He ain't seeing that.
Okay, we can.
I'm not putting my 5-year. He'll be 5 at that time. I ain't putting a 5-year-old through that.
He might like watching the action
scenes. He'll hate superheroes if we make him watch Zack Snyder movies.
Yeah,
I can't seriously.
Live in that world. You're absolutely right about that. That's the problem. He'll make it makes them boring and stupid to kids.
Right. No kids like those movies. It's all liked by dudes in their like 30s who are like unhappy and want everyone to. It's like,
and why doesn't
John like them?
It's like, that's true. It's very gothic. It's very like emo heroes.
Yes.
Super emos. Like, the world is sad. Like imagine if Frank Miller imagine if a knockoff of Frank Miller wrote every superhero story ever. Like that's what it is. It's so bad.
But poor John and I are going to be alone watching this.
You think my wife's going to watch this with me? She didn't even. She never saw the first Justice League, and then she got to watch it on her own, and she was like, "This sucks." Like, there's no way anyone's going to watch this piece of shit with me.
It's like it was written by Frank Miller, directed by Neil Breen, and produced by Dinesh D'Souza.
No, if it was written by Frank Miller, it would make sense, though.
But I mean, Frank Miller would find a way to make it like fun and like interesting,
right?
Being dark.
But then it would be directed by Neil Breen, and then it would be produced by Dinesh D'Souza. So
it'd be like a guy like doing an impression of Frank Miller.
Yeah,
like I don't want to rip on any actual bad writers, so I won't do that. But it's like,
yeah,
Howard Mackey. I'll pick.
Anyway,
it makes sense though.
I was trying to set something up, and you ruined my joke. I was going to say, so maybe John and I can get together and cuddle while we watch it. So
that'd be cute.
I don't know which of those is worse.
I'd get vaccinated.
My God, I don't know which one of those is worse. How do I not know which one of those is worse?
Yeah. I was proposing that when that came out, we should like do it like a live watch it together on the show. 4 hours? We can't do that to ourselves.
Yeah.
We can't do that to our audience.
No, that we won't listen. We'll lose the audience. Like, no.
You need mental breaks in between.
You need potty breaks in between. Like 4 hours?
All
This
right,
is a
I'm
nightmare.
sorry, I'm gonna put it out there. Do you guys want us to live watch it and get our reactions? Or you just want us to review it afterwards?
This is my fault.
Dude.
This is my fault. This is on me.
So let us know in the comments below over on Twitter and Facebook.
Dave, make a poll.
God damn it.
For the show, make a poll.
Right. Hey, I'm saying if we did do that, and if we did do that, I am writing up my last will and testament. If we did do that, because aneurysms are a thing. I am saying that we are going to do this like an MST3K episode. Because there's no way there's no way we're keeping our trap shut while watching this thing.
We're podcasters. I hope we don't keep our trap shut. Then we have to actually watch the movie.
Right.
Okay. I mean, deep vein thrombosis and
well, we have to because if we do that, it has to be transformative. We can't just.
It's like the Robin issue where DC put the 900 number in and you got to choose whether Robin lived or died.
Of course, you're going to take the most masochistic view.
Of course, the Twitterverse will torture these three guys. 4, we should get down into just to spread the pain.
Of course, yes, but I already know the Geek World All Stars is going to say yes, watch it live.
They're gonna run a campaign for it.
That's because it's an easy way to take out the competition. It's like
that poll.
Hey, hold on. You know what we could do is we could do it together in 1 4-hour session and break it up into 4 1-hour podcasts, and then we'd have a month of shows done.
It would take us that long to recover, so sure, why not?
Yes, because we're not going to talk to each other for a month after that,
or anybody else for that matter.
But then we'd have 4 hours of content finished. Think about it.
That's. All right.
And then on YouTube, we released the director's track, which would be all 4, and you sync it up to the movie, like the lions, like the lion roar, dark side of the moon thing.
I was thinking more 9 Inch Nails, but okay.
Now when we do we all turn our backs to the camera so it looks like we're watching the movie?
That would make for very poor video.
Okay.
No. What? No, hold on, John. What are you talking about? The 9 Inch Nails? I don't know this.
The soundtrack. I was just saying, just
what is the
like
legend about 9 Inch Nails?
I don't know. I was just reading something about them today, and so I don't know how things just pop out of my head.
I haven't watched it yet, but Trent Reznor wrote the score to Soul.
Trent Reznor writes a lot. He's an Academy Award-winning film composer.
I didn't know that. I know Head Like a Hole, Black as Your Soul.
Yeah, he did The Social Network. He's done a lot of stuff. Trent Reznor's had a second life as an alternative to Hans Zimmer.
Oh, he does as much stuff as the guys from ABBA did. They
missed it.
Yeah, I know. Never mind. I'm gonna shut up now.
John's eternal hate for Zimmer. All right.
No,
he does have eternal hate for Hans Zimmer.
All right. Well, look for that poll coming soon. I won't release the poll until after this episode comes out.
Look for this poll.
And then our last bit of news this week. I kind of like this. That's why I included it. I would like to see this happen. So everyone remembers at the end of Revenge of the Sith, they hint that Obi-Wan now has the ability to talk to Qui-Gon via, like how Obi-Wan talks to Luke in the original trilogy.
Force
Ghosts, but they never pay off on that.
Which is disappointing.
Liam Neeson has now come out and said he's open to returning as Qui-Gon Jinn for the Obi-Wan series. And I think that would be cool to have 1 or 2 episodes where he shows up as a Force Ghost.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, but now we know that Force Ghosts can basically, affect the real world.
No, that doesn't happen. That doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Well, I've often wondered why the Obi-Wan Force Ghost had to sit down on Endor. If he's a ghost, why does he need to sit?
Well, yeah, but now we know that they can actually bring down Force lightning. Come on. I mean, yeah, I know. It's going to be a joke.
You know, if you could
guess,
do
now
that, what's the point? If you can control that much of the outside world, what's the point of worrying if you die or not?
How did
When
the
did the-
Sith ever
hold on.
lose if they could take out entire fleets of ships by themselves? I mean, how did they ever freaking lose? I mean,
There's only 2 of them.
well, yeah, but they can
Not
take out an entire
originally.
fleet. I mean,
No, see, if you read the extended lore, that's why there's only 2, because they would fight each other. That's why they lost.
And that's what happens too. Is that like that's the whole Luke's bringing Luke in is they're both Palpatine and Vader are plotting against each other by bringing Luke in.
Right.
Vader thinks him and Luke can take over, and the Emperor thinks he can trade up for a Skywalker that isn't an invalid.
see, that always seemed way oversimplified to me because, like, if they
It's
were,
Star
if they-
Wars.
I know. Yeah, never mind.
Worst line from Justice League. That seems like an oversimplification.
Dude, I don't have any. lines
I
for that
thought it
movie
was
committed murder.
Martha.
That's Batman v Superman.
Oh, that's true. Sorry, they blend together. They're so
Yeah,
bad.
exactly.
Did you see John? Did you see the meme floating around with Godzilla and King Kong, where Godzilla quotes it's Godzilla. He quotes a line from Batman vs Superman, and he goes, "Mothra, why'd you say that name? Why did you say Mothra?"
That's awesome.
Hilarious. I
Oh,
thought of
that's-
you the first time I saw it.
That's
Like,
great. I love those movies. I was brought up on those. Oh God.
Andy's
All right.
going through a Godzilla kick right now.
All right, but John, are you up for Qui-Gon returning in the Obi-Wan?
As long as what's his name? The director, guy who's writing it. Who's in charge of
Who
those?
is writing that one? I don't remember.
I don't know who's writing the Obi-Wan.
Yeah, but the guy in charge of him, the one who's doing Mandalorian. Why can't I remember his
It's
name?
not John Favreau. John
No.
Favreau's doing Mandalorian.
I thought but Favreau's going to have pull on this. Like like this whole thing is starting basically under him, isn't it?
No,
No,
he's in charge of the Mandalorian. I think
he's a hired gun.
Yeah, much like the Mandalorian.
Nice.
To the internet.
I'm up for it as long as it's done right. But if it's what's her face that's in charge of it, who like came out with those.
Let's not do
Oh.
this again. Let's not do this
All
again. All right.
I'm sorry, but hey, even
I-
whatever the
it's-
situation is, that those 3 movies were done under her watch.
Joby Harold is the writer for
I-
the Obi-Wan series.
Okay.
And they are.
but-
He is known for.
What else is he?
Oh, he
doing?
wrote John Wick. He's a writer on John Wick.
Ooh.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh.
Okay.
Not bad. Well, just the John Wick cred is
So-
like,
so-
I would like to see a John Wick Jedi movie. Yes,
He was
please.
the producer on that. Did the King Arthur thing. All right.
Yeah, John Wick. Damn.
Yeah, but yeah, no
Really?
more.
What is a realistic lightsaber scene? I mean,
Well, he's not John Woo. Like we're not getting that, but I mean that would be cool.
yeah.
John Woo.
Yeah, no more Kathleen Kennedy talk. We had plenty
Slow motion.
2 weeks
porgs.
ago and more last week when you
Slow-motion
weren't here.
porks.
You need to go back and watch last week's episode, John. That's all I'm saying. You were brought up a lot.
Shouldn't I was picking on John the whole time he wasn't here. Because
It's okay.
I know he wasn't gonna listen. I'm like, John's not gonna listen, so
That yeah, that's what I'm
A
here.
lot.
what was a big chunk of the show was continuing the conversation without you and
Yes.
be like, well, it's unfair to do this without John, but
Well, I was having an argument with my stomach at the time, so
I get
not
it.
much I can do.
As a celiac person, I understand those arguments are not fun.
So instead of arguing with us, you argued with your stomach.
Well, yeah.
Well-
I lost for a long time.
Well, if any of you are out there right now arguing with your stomachs and need to take a quick potty break, we're going to take our last commercial break and be right back with our main topic. All right, we're back. So I was thinking, all right, we're now in a world where we've got Marvel movies, Marvel TV shows, we've got DC movies and DC TV shows.
Mhm.
And And we've had more from Marvel. We've had actual storylines adapted into the MCU. They've kind of adapted ideas from the DC comics, but not full stories, except Flashpoint like 10 times.
Yes.
So I was kind of curious. What are some storylines from the comics that we haven't gotten yet that you guys would like to see? So I'm hoping you guys thought about this before we got on air and aren't just trying to come up with something off the top of your head now. I will start since you guys both look perplexed.
No, I got stuff. I'm good. I'm always prepared. That's
all
me.
right. All right, JD. Then for what is one of your picks? And would it be a movie or a TV show?
I think everything works better in TV show, to be honest with you. Now that we have this Disney Plus world, I would rather see everything go there and skip the movie theater. That's me.
Okay.
You get more content that way.
You do get more content that way. I would like to see Spider-Man: The Clone Saga.
As a gag? What?
No,
I don't
know.
Wait, the one where he gives birth to himself?
You don't. No, that wasn't the Clone Saga. That was the other.
That was the other. Yeah.
No, the Clone Saga,
Clone Saga?
which that wasn't about clones. That was about becoming a spider.
Oh.
No, I professed my love for the Clone Saga like an hour ago. So you're not even listening to the show you're on. I think the Clone Saga is an underrated. It's not a miniseries. It was more than an event. It was 1 year plus. God, no, I take it back 2 years.
It went on for a while. Go back and listen to that episode. I'm telling you, because
that was before my time.
He lays the whole thing out and why it lasted so long and all of that.
And it was working, and it was a very interesting time in the comics. And I think that if you translate the Clone Saga into the MCU, you would get something very interesting. I would like to see Kane. I would like to see a Ben Reilly. I think that stuff will be interesting in this MCU universe.
So the first time we all know the first time they introduced cloning in Spider-Man was it in the 70s?
70s.
With Jackal. He's the first one that cloned Spider-Man. Well, he's the one that's behind the Clone Saga.
He's behind the Clone Saga. He made the initial clone is who becomes Ben Reilly.
Yes.
And then you get what's cool about it is you get the good brother and the evil brother, and then over 20 years, the good brother and the evil brother switch places. To the fact now you have Kane as kind of the dark. He went from being this villain to this dark Spider-Man. This Kane becomes like this anti-hero good guy, and Ben Reilly becomes he goes from being Peter's literal clone in almost every way to being really the mad version of Peter Parker. There's a lot there, man.
What's interesting is they did an adaptation of the original story. Not the Clone Saga, the original cloning story.
Where?
The live action 70s Spider-Man TV series.
Really?
Late 70s, early 80s.
The Nicholas Hammond one? I didn't know that.
Yep. One of the episodes, he gets cloned.
They did the clone. I think they did the Clone Saga or the first clone stuff. I believe they did it in the
90s
94
cartoon.
The Spider-Man, and they kind of played with it a little bit in the not this current iteration of Disney cartoons, but the prior one. They started playing with the clone ideas, but we've never really gotten the full-on Clone Saga. And I think there's stuff you can do with it because you know where it went wrong and you know the good things that happened, so you can play into the strengths.
Yeah, what always gets me is that to this day, Ben Reilly is a fan favorite.
Yeah.
People love that character. So why they haven't embraced him is beyond me.
They did. They brought him back and he's evil.
But
he's the new Jackal.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. They didn't embrace him as a hero.
Because you don't need him. The thing with Ben Reilly was brought in to replace Peter Parker when the thought was Peter Parker was broken. So Ben Reilly, in and of himself, is a redundant character. That's why I was always interested in Kane, because with Kane, you could do dark stuff with Spider-Man. And they eventually did when they made Kane the Scarlet Spider. But then, so when they did bring Ben Reilly back, it's okay, what are you going to do with Ben Reilly that doesn't make him, just Peter Part 2, which is all Ben really was. So you make him evil. You make him the mad brother, the one who had everything. who lost it. There's a lot of cool. There's so much cool stuff with those characters that can be done. Bendis had a version of the Clone Saga in the Ultimate Spider-Man book that was, way more simplified, way more stripped down. It was 6 issues as opposed to like 60, and it worked out pretty good. But yeah, there's a lot there, man. That's what I would do.
How about you, John?
It can be DC or Marvel, right?
Yep.
I want to see Static Shock from beginning.
Oh, good call.
I mean, think about it, like the emotional weight of that story and what they could do with it in this day and age.
They said they're going to do Static Shock, but they said they're going to do that on HBO Max, I think.
Works for me. TV. I'm good with with series.
As long as it's an episode, yes. As long as it's a series, I'm happy. And it's done well.
I mean, we all know CW. That what's his name wants to produce it and direct it.
Someone talked.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, I'm down. He's too old to play Static Shock, but I mean, or Static, excuse me. But him. If you get him and Coogler working on it together, sold. I would love that.
So you want a direct translation of the comics, or you just want the character?
Well, I mean, the backstory of the character, with his mother dying and coming from basically a ghetto, and how he gained his powers, mostly during a basically a gang war. I mean, there's so much you could do with that. As long as Zack Snyder has nothing to do with it, it wouldn't work as a CW show, because CW they'd put
too weighty,
too much real teen angst, too much.
Yeah. But you could do teen angst with Static Shock. Honestly,
you could, but not the same kind of it's way more serious than what you get in there.
I agree. I don't think they would do that tone right. I think they would probably have the wrong writers' room. With the right people working on it, it could be very, very good.
Yeah, because that one should really be able to reach and grab your heartstrings and rip them out a couple of times. I mean, plus he's for these days, he's a really good hero. So there you go.
I can't disagree with that. The first thing that I thought of when I thought about this, it's kind of why I did it. And DC kind of tried to do a version of it on TV as a sitcom, but it's, I don't think it worked. Is Marvels as a TV series on Disney Plus.
You mean the Alex Ross, Kurt Busiek Marvels? That one?
Yes. Yes. Tell the stories, and you can do them even in flashback. Tell this, the stories from the perspective of the regular person, from the reporter who's
Phil Sheldon.
Sheldon, who's running around covering these stories. And you could even go back to him telling the story of the first Avengers movie, and just reuse a lot of footage too. So but I think it would be cool to it would be different. It's something that would work on TV as opposed to that obviously wouldn't work as a movie. And it's again and what got me thinking about it was WandaVision. They're taking a huge step and doing something really different with this. So now Marvels would be something that really different.
Didn't they do something like that with Vanessa Hudgens?
Yeah, that was a comedy, and it was on the outskirts. It wasn't really what Dave's talking about here is because Phil Sheldon was a photographer who actually captured those moments. They played off he was the photographer on the scene for these giant moments in the Marvel universe, as opposed to people who just merely exist in the same universe.
It was called Powerless. That's it. Yeah,
right. He's there when Galactus shows up in the comic, and there's 4 issues in the series.
Alex Ross art, beautiful.
Yes, yeah. So that was my first pick. Got any other ones, JD?
Yeah, I would really like to see the New Frontier done in that early 60s vibe. Were you really embracing I'll call it Silver Age science fiction because it wasn't that. It was more of like the golden age of science fiction for film. But I mean, with that type of an idea where you're dealing with the stuff that we saw from the Darwin Cookbook when we reviewed it earlier this year, and you're doing a Hal Jordan coming up in the space race, and I think that would be a fun series.
If you're gonna do New Frontier, do you recast all the characters?
I do, yeah, because it's a different universe. I do think you
Okay.
have to recast them all.
Yeah, it's
'Cause they-
all their timelines are off.
Yeah.
They're
So
different.
I would have like a Nathan Fillion playing Hal Jordan.
Actually,
know.
I think he did the voice of Hal.
He did do the
Jordan,
voice of
didn't
Hal
he?
Jordan in
So,
the first
yeah.
flight, yeah. But that's why, because he could still do him like an older,
Yeah.
like he'd be a little old for the role, but I think he could still do it. He'd be like an older, washed out astronaut, Hal Jordan.
He's
kinda like he
and
is.
it's Nathan Fillion. He's got swagger.
Yeah.
he can do it.
Man is Hal Jordan. Yeah. I think that he could, who it's funny. I reviewed Inner Space this week for Combat Republic, and it occurred to me that Dennis Quaid's character in Inner Space is totally Hal Jordan. Like watching that movie, like this dude is Hal Jordan. So 30 years ago, Dennis Quaid could have been an all right Hal Jordan. That's neither here nor there. I just thought of that. But yeah, I think you would have to recast everybody, which is fine because then you get a different look at everyone. And in the a DC multiverse, now that we accept that, it would be really cool. Now that's something that would work in 4 or 5 1-hour increments or 10, whatever,
Right. Yeah, I agree. John, you have any more?
I don't know. Like I'm interested in some of the B characters. I don't have a specific storyline, but like I'd like to see some of the other characters get like shows or something that it could be really interesting. Like it'd be really nice to see Booster Gold, or what's his name, Shining Knight. That would be an interesting story to tell. These are like deep cut. Well, they're like C rank Justice League members, but they've got really interesting storylines that could be, fleshed out and work pretty well. And we already saw like a little bit of Shining Knight in Stargirl. So
Right.
And usually Shining Knight at least in Bruce Timm's universe, Shining Knight was always hanging out with
Vigilante.
Yeah. And another really, really good one, The Question.
Oh yeah.
That would be a trip down like that would be a trip, literally a trip.
Dude, that's cool because you get different versions of The Question, which is awesome. Like the original question, the Steve Ditko question is very much this like Randian, A is A style character, but the Denny O'Neil question is much different. Like he's super into the martial arts. He's you really started the investigative reporter thing, and that's really cool. And then like the Bruce Timm question is basically Fox Mulder, like looking up all these conspiracy theories and just being an overall madman. So like
but making connections that nobody else is making,
them
being right.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I hate to put the term QAnon, but I mean, like, if that shit was real, Vic Sage would be out there, or Charlie Sass, depending on how you look at it, would be out there solving these mysteries that nobody else could see. Like, yeah, that would be awesome. I co-sign that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so then I was thinking the other idea that I had, but then I thought, did they kind of do this already? And I'm trying to remember the name of the story. Is it If This Be My Destiny? Spider-Man?
They always have some corny ass Stan Lee title. Which one is that again?
The one where he's under all that machinery.
Oh yeah. Well, they kind of did that in Spider-Man 2, didn't they?
Or did they do that? I thought they did that kind of in Homecoming, and when he's at the dance and then he gets beaten up by Vulture and left there, and he's deciding whether or not he wants to
yeah. They do that
so that's the thing. It's like they kind of did it, so yeah,
that's more of a moment than a story,
right? Exactly. No, I'm saying like there's things that you could incorporate into because the other thing was because when I was like looking at different stories, and I'm like, they take things, but they don't fully always embrace them. They give you pieces of them, like Demon in a Bottle. They
Yeah.
touched on it in Iron Man 2, but they're
Never
not
really.
going to, a Disney movie is not going to give you an alcoholic Tony Stark.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Which is too bad because you could have done something really cool with that.
Yeah.
And then of course the other one, and even though it was on Netflix, we never really got Daredevil Reborn.
That's true.
They touched on some of the stuff with Karen Page, but they never went down that road.
Well, nor should they, because the Karen Page in the book at the time wasn't nearly as well developed as the Karen Wool Karen Page, or the Deborah Wool Karen Page, excuse me. You know, so that's a lot harder of a fall from that character. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a harder
Yeah.
character arc to pull off, I think. But there's things that I think there's definitely elements pulled from
Right.
that. You know, it'd be kind of cool. I'll take this, right? Would be if they did Guardian Devil.
That would work.
You know, the one where Daredevil has to protect the child who might be the Antichrist.
Yes. Yes.
That was for, I don't think John knew what I was talking about.
No, I
Yeah.
don't. But
That was
it's
Kevin
good.
Smith. Kevin Smith wrote that one.
Yep.
Allow me to be your vehicle for exposition.
Thank you. That would be because they're Charlie Cox is, I guess, back playing Daredevil. So that might be something.
That's the rumor, which is awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's a rumor. They say that he's already filmed stuff, but there's like I haven't seen any like main sites cover it yet. So
Me neither. But like I'm hoping this is real because then we get, oh man, what's his name? What's the name of the guy who played Luke Cage back? Mike.
Oh crap. I was thinking him
just drew a blank.
and Jessica.
Yeah, Christian Ritter is Jessica Jones.
Yeah, like but they're yeah, and just leave Danny.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
We don't need
exist.
that. We don't need Iron Fist.
Yeah.
You know, but those three were great. I can't remember the name of the guy who played Cage. He was fantastic. Oh
Coulter.
my God. Mike Coulter, thank you.
Mike Coulter, right?
He was fantastic.
Coffee guy.
Yeah. As if you could give me those three back in the real Marvel universe, man, I'd be super happy.
Hey,
What about-
you got the multiverse coming up.
Well, no, I think they're in because if Charlie Cox is in, like they're in.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they're
Yeah.
I
in.
mean, technically they've always been in.
Right.
It's just, that
we had that weird embargo with the TV that now is
Yeah.
gone. Thank you, Disney Plus. And like I want him in there. Like I want Luke Cage back. I really like Mike Coulter's Luke Cage. Like, yeah, that's good shit. This is fun, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, and then the only other story, and we talked about it not that long ago, but I don't know how you make it work. Is Craven's Last Hunt?
Yeah, I agree. That would be really good for a Spider-Man Disney Plus show.
Right. If we
'Cause
ever
you-
get something like that.
If we ever get, yeah, and that's such a stone's throw. Like that would be really cool because you could establish him in the first couple episodes, have him be
Right.
defeated, and then spiral down this dark path. That'd be really cool, actually. That's something I don't think we'll ever see, but I would love that. Because I do think that is the best Spider-Man story ever.
it'd have to be just a mini series, right?
It would-
Like with a definite end, because
No, you could do 9 because they do 9 episodes, 10 episodes, and
Well-
stuff. You could do that. It could be done.
I don't know. Like we went over that story.
It was a 6 issue, but it was a 6 issue. It was 6 issues at the time. And then if you spend a couple episodes establishing Craven beforehand, like it could work. I guess it's super ambitious, but it could work. You know?
Yeah, if you gave it like 2 or 3 episodes where you established him
Yeah.
as okay.
Right,
As a-
right. Because you can't just bring Craven in and kill him. Like,
No.
Right, yeah.
That's why it would work better if
Who's this
on a show.
wackadoodle? It's like,
Right, if you spend like 2 episodes bringing him in all high and mighty, and he gets crushed by Spidey. He has a revenge story. He gets crushed by Spidey, and then like you just have an episode of him mentally breaking down, and then the next like 5 are Craven's Last Hunt.
right.
You know, because you could get there in 10 episodes.
I mean, it's one of those when you ask people like, "Oh, which one would you like to see adapted?" They always jump on that, and it's like, okay, but we
It's
haven't
the
had
hard.
Craven.
Yeah,
We haven't had Craven yet. How do you have his last hunt before you establish
Right.
who he is?
but that's the thing about Craven, and I'll maintain this: bringing Craven back is a huge mistake because there's nothing he's ever done that's been more important or better than him dying.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like that's the character's greatest contribution to the medium is that fantastic death story. But you know, we gotta we got to bring characters back because nerd writers want to play with the toys, not as good as their forerunners did.
You mentioned you mentioned immortality earlier.
I did.
Yeah, you said something about Marvel immortality. And you said, "Oh, I'll get to that later."
I have no memory of what that was.
Ah.
I have no idea what I was talking about. I'll listen to the
I
show.
thought you were gonna bring it up when we said, with Chris Evans coming back. So.
Because Chris Evans was coming back as Captain America. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay,
yeah. That's
Loki came back.
Loki,
Chris
yeah,
Evans.
That's what I meant. I had no.
Nobody stays dead in the comics or the TV show.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Are we going to start? Does that open if they bring Captain? Because I thought about it, I kind of like the evil idea better. But if they do bring Chris Evans back as Cap, is the door open for resurrection in the Marvel universe? In the Marvel cinematic universe.
So far, what they've done goes along with the storylines. I mean, okay, Loki's from another timeline,
right?
So okay, fine, you brought him back. Black Widow may or may not have been a Skrull,
right?
We don't know. And Chris Evans, well, if Loki is now traveling in time with what's their faces, then you could easily bring Chris Evans back in that way.
We don't know what they're doing with it. We have no idea. But that's the question.
But you've got back doors. There's no real resurrection yet.
Mm-hmm. And resurrections are 90% of the time cheap.
Yeah.
Every now and then you'll get something really good.
Yeah.
Colossus. I'm sure Don listening will agree with me. Colossus coming back was a good move and a good story.
Yeah.
But those are, there's less of those than there are no reason,
Yeah. Even like when they brought we again, this is another story that we've gone over.
Wally.
When they brought back Green Lantern.
Hal
Jordan. They just even that's
a good book.
It's a good book, but even it still felt kind of like, bringing him back like that is just.
I also think a story is like, because it was such a move to sell books, killing off Superman and then bringing him back.
Yeah,
and then
then everybody had to die or come back and do something. That's how we got Spider-Man Clone Saga in the first place.
And then of course they do it in the movies, and it has no impact because we haven't lived with the Superman long enough.
Oh yeah, that was a huge mistake in that movie, like killing him. And then they brought in Doomsday immediately. It was just man, he jammed that was like a giant sandwich. They just kept stuffing stuff in there.
The way they did it was so stupid too. It's like
totally
you could have thrown the goddamn spear, but no, you got to rush at him and have it kill you too. I mean, come on.
And it makes me wonder, if they bring Cat back, are people going to be cheering? Are they going to be oh, this is stupid?
If Marvel does it, if Marvel does it, they're probably going to do it right. And when they bring it back, it's going to be a surprise. And you're going to cheer.
Well, it won't be a surprise because we know Chris Evans is.
We know
the surprise is out the window.
But
sneaking into your room, JD.
Yeah, let's hope that they keep it, off the books.
Yes, that's what we can hope for. Isn't that cute, everyone? Isn't that wonderful?
I love my son. What do you want?
No,
my son's 18 and surly, so
yes, he's 4 and happy. So I'm gonna enjoy it while I got it.
Exactly. Sorry, Sean. We cut you off. Oh, the COVID. So go ahead. What were you saying, John?
I was just saying if they, as long as hopefully maybe they would be able to make it a surprise. They completely spoiled Spider-Man in Civil War. It would be nice if they could, not do that again this time.
Could you imagine if they kept their mouth shut? The reaction.
Oh my God!
People,
the Twitter would have exploded.
I would have exploded.
Yeah.
Me
too.
I would in my pants. I would have just lost. I would have lost all control if they had kept that secret.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Luke showing up at the end of Mandalorian?
I was going to say,
yes,
exactly. We know they can keep the secrets, so look what happened with that.
They were worried about Civil War not selling enough tickets, so
I wonder.
Man, that'd have been great. Now I'm
Well,
disappointed.
that's the thing too.
Yeah.
How is it that no one knew about the Luke returning?
Well,
But
it's
yet-
only Mark Hamill and then whoever is doing the de-aging, the CGI de-aging. There wasn't a whole lot of
That was
people.
a team. No, there was a whole lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot
We
of
were talking
people
about
involved to make that
that
work.
was a whole like it's not like face swap. It'd be better if it was face swap, but like there's a whole team of people.
There's
working
I
on
mean,
stuff.
and that wasn't Mark Hamill doing the scene. That was a body
No, some
stand-in.
actor, yeah. Mark
And
Hamill just did the
De-aged
voice.
him.
No, they used his face, but it was another dude.
Mm.
Mark Hamill ain't built like that anymore. They just swapped. They just did some
And-
not face swap technology, but like they put like a face.
and it's not just Mark Hamill.
Face.
It's Pedro Pascal and the rest of the cast
Right.
all
There's
had
a lot of NDAs involved. Well, they also
Yeah.
had Tom Holland, who's incapable of keeping his mouth shut. So,
Well, it's true. Yeah.
and plus, I
so-
think they wanted to make a big deal of Spider-Man coming in and like make Sony happy. And there's probably some politics that had to be played, but it'd have been such a better moment if they had just kept their mouth shut.
But again, but then how did this Chris Evans news get leaked? And
Tom Holland, probably.
Tom, what are you doing to us? All right. Well, I think that's good. Unless you guys have any other ones you want to add, but
Nah.
Good. Let's go into the recommendations.
all right. Someone's looking at his email.
Acid reflux. Excuse me.
You recommending acid reflux? Okay.
You're
No,
recommending.
matter of fact, I'm not. Please don't have it.
So, JD, what recommendations do you have for the audience?
So, earlier this summer, I watched the first wave of the Transformers animated War for Cybertron,
Mhm.
which is like geared more toward adults. It's complex plot, kind of violent, definitely not something I'm going to let my son watch. The second wave of it, Earthrise, came out, and I saw the first 2 episodes. Hot damn. Watch that.
Huh,
That's
okay.
my first recommendation.
I haven't
2.
gotten to that yet.
2, oh dude, it's really good. 2, I discovered something that you'll really like, John. A show, yes, a YouTube channel called Super Void Cinema. The algorithm got me. What this guy does is he does these big long takes on YouTube of movies that never got made. And he'll go into gross detail, the scripts, and like he has some pretty good animations that are done. And the first one I saw was he did what would have been Superman 5, the movie that Carrie Bates was writing for Christopher Reeve
Ooh.
that never got made. And it was really good. And they go over this Brainiac movie that never happened. And by the end of it, you're like, damn it, man.
Brainiac?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shoot.
It's the Salkinds were trying to make a Brainiac movie, and they just couldn't get it together in time. And then Christopher Reeve got hurt and it just didn't happen. And the second one I saw from him was the canceled He-Man movies from 1988 to 2018. And the saga, and that one's an hour long, and we could have gotten this amazing Grayskull movie in 2009, 2010. That sounded like it would have been phenomenal. Like, I'm not a big YouTube rabbit hole guy, but I finished my writing early on Saturday, and the wife and the kid were out, so I'm like, I think I'm just gonna see what's on YouTube, and that came up, and I was like intrigued.
Interesting.
It was so good. So I mean, like, if you're like a cinephile who likes comics, I highly recommend the Super Void Cinema YouTube page.
You have to send me a link for that. That sounds really cool.
I will put it in the chat.
Yeah. Damn.
All right, John.
I love stuff like that. Well, let's see. I got a couple of recommendations. Number 1, make your own starter, your own sourdough starter, because the bread is just divine. Second, I've got something for you, JD. The new season of anime is coming out. So all the new ones are coming out. So I got a new one. So I'm a spider. So what? That's the name of a new series.
Fantastic.
Not recommending that. I've only seen 1 episode. It seems interesting, but it's
very Italian. So I'm a spider. So what?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
It's your basic isekai so far. So I don't know. I will say, go on to Netflix and watch Enola Holmes.
Oh yeah,
I've been meaning to watch that too.
I really, 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 really like that one. I
Okay.
hope they definitely need to make another one.
Is Cavill good in it?
Oh, Cavill's in it, and he is good.
Cavill's
He
good in
is
everything
good.
that's not directed by Zack Snyder.
Exactly.
There's a trend.
Yeah. He had he had some emotion and
No, he was the right guy, just the wrong director.
yeah.
Right.
So there's that. I think that's it. I think that's it for now. Oh no, one other thing for anime fans, Dr. Stone season 2 just came out. And it's one of the best animes out there right now. And probably one of the better animes of all time, actually. So I would, if you like Dr. Stone or you haven't seen it, go see Dr. Stone season 1, go watch the entire season and then watch season 2. It's the basic premise is that bunch of basically everybody in the earth gets turned to stone one day. Nobody knows why. And thousands of years later, a couple of them break out of the stone somehow. One of them is this kid who's a science genius, and he has decided he is going to bring the human beings from the Stone Age into the technology age as fast as humanly possible. And it's awesome.
It sounds cool.
You're learning science along with, like, they're actually telling you exactly how they're making vacuum tubes, how they're doing this, how they're doing that. It's really cool.
My son
Science.
was watching that.
Yeah,
He said it was really good too. So
it is. So there you go. Those are my recommendations.
That sounds cool.
I will recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page if you want to be part of Social Media Madness. And of occasionally reviews by Don. I have like 3 in the queue that I have not put up yet. So sorry about that, Don. That'll be coming up soon. Other than that, I got nothing this week, guys. I've been working on some music, actually. I've been like really getting back into that and going to the gym and working. So you know what? I recommend going to the gym, walking 3 to 5 miles a day. That's what I've been doing, and you'll feel better. It clears your mind. So
Do you do that before or after you eat the entire bag of ho-hos?
I don't eat ho-hos.
I'm saying should I? I mean, it's like
so
I
yeah,
need to lose more weight.
No, but I didn't. And then I had KFC last night, so I mean that's not always good.
That's chicken. It's natural, mostly.
Not when you get the biscuits, mashed potatoes, and cookies. All right.
Oh, now I'm hungry.
So on that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for hanging out with us. Don't let you keep caught in the door. Have a good week.